extra time. That's the whole point of it. But regardless, we're going to be
efficiency.
kicking off another draft in just a second here, guys. Gangstar's and Team Solomid. Gangstar's on side A. Do you think side... Actually, this is sort of a broader question that I have for you. Do you think side A or side B is stronger a position to be in right now?
I personally, as a drafter, prefer the B side right now.
I actually prefer the A side at the moment, which I think kind of speaks to the fact that it's personal preference, which is a good sign. If you feel the advantages are just purely down to personal preference, that's a good sign for the balance. Obviously, I assume you like to have that pick, ban, pick sequence.
Yeah, and then also the last pick.
And for me, I really like having the opportunity to have that first pick and then the double pick while knowing two of your opponent's picks already. I feel like those are particularly strong.
All right, well, we have got some picks now. Gangstar is banning away Ringo, TSM Answer with the Adagio. Then we see the Vox and Lyra locked in.
So TSM earlier, when they played the Lyra in lane, it was in response to a weapon box. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. Maybe Gangstar's playing right into the hands of Team Solomid. But at the same time, Gangstars, they have to know the Lyra's left open. They don't take it. You have to assume Team Solomid's going to pick it up. So Gangstars, you got to figure they've got something in mind to deal with this Lyra.
Yeah, it's tough. Also, you think about like what Iraqi really wants to play. He was doing well on the Adagio. If they don't take the Vox, you know, like what is he really left with of his core picks?
Well, I mean, just because he hasn't played them yet this season, we obviously know Iraqi does play quite a few heroes in lane. You know, does also like that Ringo, but they banned that one away.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen too much of Iraqi on like the Baron or the Gwen. But I feel like Gwen would be another pick that's right up Iraqi's alley.
We've definitely seen him on the Baron. I saw some Twitter pictures of people photoshopping his face onto it yesterday because he had a pretty strong performance. Team Solomid, they're going to be banning away a Lance right now. Gangstars has a chance to answer. So many things pair well with a Lyra that it's hard to just choose based on that. I think you got to choose about your composition.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I think they ran a weapon glaive with the lane Lyra last time because it was one of the few weapon glaives that we saw.
Yeah, I think you might be right. We didn't see very many of them, that's for sure.
So, I don't know. I mean, glaive could be a decent ban for them here.
Glaive's just a decent ban most
I mean,
of the
it's
time.
a decent ban in general, but you know, it's a particularly decent ban.
That is kind of one anecdotal ban you can make if you want to think of it that way, right? Like you have one piece of information on what they like to pair with Lyra, so you remove that one thing. I don't know if that's a broad enough strategy for this early in the draft for Gangstars. I feel like that is kind of assuming that Team Solomid don't have alternative options.
Yeah, I mean, also, even if it was just the Lyra in the captain position, which it could definitely happen, the glaive would still have a massive impact. In the game. They have the Vox, and they could pull the Baron out on their team. Baron dumpsters the Vox. So they have a lot of options there.
Wow, Taka going to be the option that Gangstars decide to go for.
Vonsi did pull out the Taki yesterday. And kind of going back to that old school Vonsi pickup, but there's still plenty of options for him. We know Vonsi, it's literally impossible to ban him out of a draft because he can just jump onto pretty much any hero in the game and make it work, it feels like. So I'm hoping we see a Scarf at some point, just because I want to say we had every single hero picked this weekend.
There's a potential
no other
3 games
reason
left for that to happen. So we could still see it. It's possible.
I'm hoping we do. That's the only reason why, though. Not because I particularly think it's good or anything like that.
I find it interesting TSM burning so much time here.
Yeah, they're usually a team that's very quick, and you know they like to kind of lock in their picks, not really give their opponents too much time to think about. Of course, the bonus time sort of negates that strategy a little bit.
They'll wait until they know, and then they'll lock it in. Like when they were on A side, they waited a while and then insta-locked 2 picks on their second rotation. So I feel like they want to use the time to think, however. And what surprises me is they actually had all the time that Taka was being considered as well. So they've spent a tremendously long time on this one, but it's more that side of things that interests me, that they do go for the glaive in the end.
Yeah, it could have been that they were looking to go for that Taka, so when it got banned away, they kind of had to reboot their strategy a little, but pulling out the glaive here, like I said, very strong into Lyra. This was actually one of the combos when Lyra was first released that everyone was talking about, everyone was playing, was the glaive with the Lyra after burning people into a bright bulwark and just keeping them locked down forever.
It's really tough to deal with.
Well, Gankstars has a little bit of time to figure out how they want to deal with it with 20 seconds on the bonus.
I find it fun, and the two things that we talked about earlier that TSM doing well in the drafting was having these flex picks of the Lyra and the Glaive, but they've got them both here, and I don't know how that happened.
Do you think this is a failing of Gangstar's draft, or do you think they have some kind of plan? Like maybe this Fortress fits into that plan part of this.
It feels like a fail, but I'd like to be proven wrong.
I actually like the Fortress here. A lot of the teams, and I say a lot of teams, we've only seen it once or twice, but when they've played Fortress into Lyra, they're able to...
Oh, boy.
First time on stream for the Grumpjaw.
Grumpra!
I'm a little wary of it right now. Just with this composition.
Hey, let me run away with you in my belly. Oh no, Afterburn. I guess I don't go anywhere with you. Oh no, Arcane Passage?
Suddenly they're in the better position.
Wait, I want an old Bright Bulwark. I don't know about this. I don't like the Grumpjaw.
Yeah.
As much as I like the Grumpjaw, I don't like the Grumpjaw though.
I don't like the Grumpjaw with what they have either. I don't feel like it really. I mean, it's the Fortress can help it out a bit, but other than that, I don't feel like the Grumpjaw really brings a whole lot with the Fortress.
Fortress
and the
will
Vox.
negate some of the healing coming out of the Lyra, depending on how things play out here. So probably, we're guessing Glaive Roam, Lyra lane with the Kroll coming out of the jungle here.
It upsets me so much that we have Kroll and Grumpjaw in the same game, but not on the same team. that is so disappointing.
What I find really funny is that I'm just imagining Flash X behind the scenes like, oh my god, we just used 60 seconds of bonus time and they picked a Grumpjaw on their last pick. What do we do? Because I'm sure, I mean, he predicts a lot of stuff, but as you start adding these elements, as we get double band draft kicked off, it's hard to predict all the different outcomes, and I don't think that's one that anyone had at the top of their priority list.
Yeah.
But Kroll going to be their answer.
Yeah. I just want to say best of luck to Scoundrel and Jaws on this one. The first Grumpjaw game on stream of the season. It's a lot of excitement.
Good man thinking of the casters like that.
Well, that's where we come from, right? But, all right, let's make some predictions here, because Gankstars, I would have said before the Grumpjaw, I feel like, okay, maybe just from a team perspective, frankly, I think TSM is favored. Now with the pick, you got to ask yourself, do they know something we don't? Do they have this really crazy plan that they've been cooking up?
You hope that they do.
It's a possibility just because we haven't seen the Grumpjaw very much. I'll be the first to admit I'm not 100% sure just how much the Grumpjaw is capable of. I have not been impressed from the little bit of it I've seen up till now.
The biggest question to me is this double weapon. Right? And that could be really unique and very interesting. With the Fortress, I would be inclined to say.
Is it going to be weapon Grumpjaw?
What else would you...
Crystal.
Or it could be... I prefer Grumpjaw as a captain, actually, and then put a Crystal Fortress.
That could be interesting also. Grumpjaw, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, was off stream, but he did lose one game already, so we're going to have to see if he can bring that back as Gankstars try and make it work. We're ready for the finals between Gankstars and Team Solomid, passing it off to Scoundrel and Jaws.
Over on the blue side, Gankstars. Over on the red, TSM. My name is George, joined by Scoundrel. Finals are up. Thanks, guys, on the caster desk. And my goodness, what a finals it's going to be.
I feel like you needed to really go in on that intro.
Yeah, I know,
It had to be like proper WWE, like,
Gankstars.
over on the blue side, fighting for the Gankstars barrier, the homegrown organization. You know, something like that, you know.
I got you. I'll do it next time. It's all good.
I'm joking, buddy. Right,
Oh, okay.
so shall we start breaking this down?
Very quickly, yeah, go for it.
I actually quite like Grumpjaw in this situation. Now, I admit I'm with Tasty Bacon. I prefer Grumpjaw as a captain. I initially, when I did a guide for him, I initially thought he was best as CP because he was too easily kited as weapon power. I still think that stands. He's very easily kited as weapon power. But as a Glaive and Cruel, what are you trying to do? You're going all in, right? You're going all in to deal with this Vox. And you know, you don't kite against someone who's trying to go in on you. You just go in on them when they're trying to go all in on you. So I think this is going to be okay for a weapon power Grumpjaw here. I think this is a perfectly viable situation for him to flourish in because he doesn't need to do any chasing. He just has to kind of hit the people trying to kill the Vox. And weapon power Grumpjaw is super, super hard to deal with if he can get close to his target. And that's the if, right? The problem with Grumpjaw is that sometimes he can't get close to his target jaws. So I don't know. I think TSM could be slightly struggling if they want to go for their kind of dive the Iraqi Zoro Vox combo that they're looking for.
Oh man, like the combination of just being able to kind of get on top of Rakizoro, mixed with the disengage of the Lyra, is just going to be so important. That Blighted Bulwark is going to be the most important ability in this game, I think,
absolutely.
to kind of hit.
I think the one way that TSM can play these fights is if they do get a reposition on Iraqi Zoro, they don't actually kind of go all in. They just shove that Bright Bulwark down. You know, like they said, the age-old combination of Afterburn into Bright Bulwark kind of stopped Grumpjaw following up on that engage. And then they just use those weakness stacks to burst Iraqi Zoro down. But that's a big if, because, you know, you've got to lock Iraqi Zoro down first of all, and that could be the hard part.
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite hard to do because you'd have a fortress on your side. You've also got your own mobility to deal with, for them to deal with at least. And yeah, I think that's going to be the main thing they're going to need to do. But it's going to be fairly tough. And I think a lot of it relies on maybe Flash X just getting a really sick afterburn off and just seeing what they can go from there.
I completely agree. Wreck now on the wrong end of things. Flash X not going to pull the trigger, however. Has got double Dragon Blood contract, by the way, so. A bit more aggressive. Or rather,
we've
just, sorry,
actually
just,
seen...
I get confused with the little stacks, sorry. He's got Dragon Blood contract, but it's got 2 stacks.
Oh, okay. There we go. Thank you. Thanks for clearing it up. Whoa, hang on a minute. Hang on. What's going on down here? Vonsi, what are you doing? You can't do this. Fortress, you're going to have to run away now. Xenotech is not doing too much damage in this early stage of the game, and Vonsi just kind of bringing it to them. Is he going to interrupt the recalls? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, Xenotech got out with the skin of his teeth. Von C just going crazy aggressive already, and into someone like a Grumpjaw and a Fortress. I didn't think he'd go hard and fast that early.
Well, actually, the funny thing is about the fact that Grumpjaw's he's only got one ability that can kind of get him in or away from the fray. So if Vonsi can get onto the Grumpjaw, even with Grumpjaw's B, which has got in my opinion, potentially the worst ability name in the world. I think it's like Hangry.
Hangry, yeah, that's the one.
It's like, yeah, it's even worse than some of Koshka's abilities names. I actually cringe every time I have to say that.
Frenzy.
Even with Hangry, you're reducing his damage output so much that, you know, you're always going to win the one-on-one duels, and I think that's where Vonsi's going to look to exploit. Kind of wins that one-on-one against the Grumpjaw early on.
Oof. Flash X walked into 2 members of Gangstars then. Do you know the funny thing about that ability as well? You saying that. I was actually in the room when AJ recorded the voice lines for the Hero Spotlight. And him saying the Hangry line and then reading out the description of the ability over and over again did make me laugh a little bit. So, yeah, funnily enough, it's I think one of the funny abilities in the game for sure. Yummy Catnip Frenzy as well. It's just like, come on.
Hangry.
Hangry.
Like a mix between hungry and angry, but
yeah,
just makes me feel awful to say it out loud.
Oh boy.
Can I just refer to it as his B for the rest of the rest of the stream?
B ability. Nothing else. Nothing but B. Well, TSM. They are looking so hot right now. Let's not beat around the bush. They are looking incredibly good. But Gangstars, with that decisive series up against Rogue, I think this is actually, we mentioned it before about TSM C9 being kind of the Clash of the Titans. I actually think this best of 3 is kind of a Clash of Titans right now, just going on how strong they are.
Well, given the performances this weekend, Jaws, I completely agree. Whoa!
Hang on a minute. Xenotech has jumped on completely, shut down him early. He won't prove trouble later on. And Flash X says thank you very much. And Xenotech with that early death and that going on Flash X as well. Not the priority member, but still taking him down is going to be ever so easy for TSM now to try and get an advantage.
And Von C goes straight on the Crystal Sentry, smites it down, and takes it away, and Rekt and Iraqi Zoro can do nothing about it. That was the boomerang from Hell's Heart, right back onto Xenotech's model, and locked him down, and Xenotech couldn't escape, couldn't get anywhere, just smited down, and Flash X picks up the kill. And again, this Best Chuck NA Lyra pick into Vox, they know exactly what they're doing when they pick this into the lane. It's got a range advantage on Vox. It makes it very hard for Vox to step up to farm. And you're already seeing a small 10 CS lead open up here for Best Chuck NA. Iraqi Zoro, look, he can't even step up to the wave because Best Chuck NA will just come up and slam a Principum Arcanum on him. He's being very defensive here.
He really is. And we have seen, obviously, Iraqi Zoro on this Vox just do so well, but now just kind of coming up against Best Chuck. Flash X, that's it's got a couple of members of Gangstars in that bush, buddy. You have to back off very quickly.
It's actually double weapon power. Wow, okay.
Oh, wow, actually, yeah.
I thought potentially you could see a CP Vox, but we're actually going to see straight up double weapon power. Great single target burst. You know, but that's all they've got. They've just got single target burst. So I guess you deal with the first person in front of you. and then deal with the next, and then deal with the next. I think that's kind of exactly what Gangstars are going to want to employ here. Just deal with the Cruel, maybe deal with the Glaive, deal with the Lyra.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the target selection is going to have to be on point, right? Because the thing is with Lyra, and we've seen it over these last few games, she just is the best hero for getting out of sticky situations. You've got passive, passage even, and Blight Bulwark. It's just so frustrating to actually get on top of her. So, you know, picking her target is going to have to be so key. And I think that's where Xenotech is really going to have to shine through here, because on that Grumpjaw, he's going to have to pick his target for his ult very, very carefully, because it just seems, and I've spoken to a few players about it, that ult is just so busted in a 3v3 style game like this, because you're eliminating a third of the team. Yeah,
it's a really, really strong ultimate. I actually don't know whether Bright Bulwark blocks the ultimate. I've not seen that interaction yet, but I think Bright Bulwark blocks any gap closing abilities. Does Xenotech's ultimate count as a gap closing ability? I'm just not sure. I'm interested to see whether that interaction actually takes place, because then again, Best Trick NA is the linchpin here for TSM. Every single member from Gangstar's Sirius kind of sucks versus Bright Bulwark. Like, every single member, including Fortress. So if a Bright Bulwark is placed in the right place at the right time, you kind of shut down everything that Gangstars want to achieve when they're looking for an engage.
Just a big lot of denied. That's what that is. I mean, the thing is with that Blighted Bulwark as well, if it does block Xenotech's ult, like, is that the one true counter to that ability, really? Because you just instantly pop it down, whoop, pop, team stands in it, nothing matters at the end, and Xenotech will have to do just normal damage. Can't take anybody out of the fight, and that's half his kit gone already there as well.
I'd almost be tempted to say take Cruel out of the fight instead of even trying to go for the Lyra and potentially running that risk. Just if Cruel runs at you, just ult Cruel, stop those weakness stacks going up, get Iraqi Zoro to dive onto Best Check NA.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Monsi just jumped straight in again. And Rekt is going to get snared up. He does activate Attack of the Pack. But Vonic, here he goes. This is what we wanted to see. Xenotech, nom. And Von C will end up falling. Rekt will pick up the kill with the help of Attack of the Pack. Iraqi Zoro not picking up too much there, but an assist. But Xenotech completely denying Von C in that fight.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't use it earlier, actually. He really waited for a very long time to use that ultimate. I've got to say, though, that's not the way that I think TSM want to play the fights. Because if they run in, if they're the ones to engage, that means the Gangstars don't even have to worry about Bright Bulwark. They can kite back, they can make sure that Grumpjaw is hitting his target, and he won't have a care in the world. So yeah, I think that's not exactly the way that I would play the team fights. Oh, nearly a steal, not quite.
That was so close. Immense gold payout goes over to Gangstars, and that will mean the gold lead is just kind of edging in their favor at the moment. However, look at that big pickup now from the Lyra. Best Chakane, he's got that broken myth, that 2 items right now. He's just going to be absolutely wailing damage down on Iraqi Zero.
Yeah, he really is. I gotta say, I think if TSM play the sort of the safe game and just use Cruel as maybe the appealing weakness stack, you know, so force Gangstars to make the move, then Cruel just start to apply weakness stacks to the closest person that's a threat to Best Chuck NA. That's the better way that they play this team fight potentially. But, you know, if they feel like they need to force the issue with the From Hell's Heart, that kind of plays into Gangstars. It means that Grumpjaw isn't going to get kited, which is one of Grumpjaw's major weaknesses right now. So I think that's the better way for TSM, or sort of the TSM to approach it. We'll have to see whether that plays out though. Grumpjaw, very happy just with the Serpent's Mask to then start going basically full defense. As obviously you get all that extra. Whoa!
Oh my god! Flash X dives in, he goes straight onto Iraqi Zoro, but that's not their main target. They're going to have to peel back here for the Lyra as Flash X is almost going to fall. The fountain comes out, he's still surviving somehow. Rekt is just going to dive on in, he almost goes down in the process of that. Perfect kiting back from TSM. This is what we wanted to see from them. Straight back to their turret and into safety. They've really got to be careful because Xenotech, he has popped the ult, but Fortress as well. It's going to be very, very easy for them to jump on Flash X now and kill him. Very little defensive stats available for him. No fountain. Obviously, that was used in that fight there, but really perfect from TSM. What we wanted to see.
Yeah, but also great from Gangstars as well, because obviously, you know, they utilize that Grumpjaw. Oh, Iraqi Zoro.
Iraqi Zoro might be taking out. The last bit of the auto attack comes through from Lyra. However, the kills are traded up. Flash X ends up falling. The passage is taken. And nom 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 nom. Xenotech is going to spit him out the opposite way. Does not want anything to do with Von C. And that was actually really good at kind of a mini disengage there.
Yeah, again, you know, take Von C out the fight means he can't smite, means he can't build weakness stacks, kind of makes that Cruel useless. Because the one impact that Cruel has is when he gets that movement speed bonus from coming out of the brush, and then obviously then being able to get those weakness stacks right at the start of the fight and making sure the damage output of one of the carries is very low. It's great if you just take him out straight away, let those weakness stacks drop, which is the important thing, because those weakness stacks will drop. He won't be able to get a good smite, and he has to start from ground one with having no movement speed bonus and having to, you know, work from scratch after just being spit out by Grumpjaw.
Yeah, I think just the main catalyst to that really was what could be Xenotech. The ultimate cooldown is just mind-boggling to me because he's already got it off again. So the next fight may be happening in the next 2 to 3 minutes, or let's say, he's going to have his ult every single time, and like it's on a 45 to 50 second cooldown, I think. So, yeah, Xenotech's just going to be able to pop off.
I think it's a 50-second cooldown at second rank, and it gets to 40 seconds if you overdrive it. But yeah, it's still a very low cooldown.
Crazy. Yeah, a big extended fight there could easily you could activate it twice if you get a little bit of cooldown in your kit as well. Flash X just he's flaring out, making sure no one's there.
And with this Serpent's Mask, you almost become a semi-captain after going. I mean, actually, it looks like Xenotech might be building a Bonesaw, which is awesome because I haven't seen a Bonesaw in a very long time.
Oh, Arakizora is going to get jumped on yet again, just in the mugs of TSM. They destroy him. However, Von C is going to get eaten by Xenotech. Flash X still following up. They're under turret now. They're going to have to be careful. After burn in, they're going to knock the fortress back, but Best Chuck NA, he just can't get the damage down. Flash X, so low HP, he's going to have to get out of there. That turret does a lot of damage at this time. Von C decides he's got other matters, though. He's going to go for that turret. The smite comes through. It's a lot of damage. But still, Gangstar's holding off TSM. But Flash X actually decides he wants some of this. Von C's going to go in as well. Turret is going to get destroyed. Xenotech's going to get destroyed as well. Impressive stuff coming out from Chuck NA. 3-0 on this laning carry Lyra.
Yeah, Best Chuck NA, we've seen him play time and time again. And looks like he's making great use of it once more. Kind of untouched, but we expected that. There isn't really many ways for Gangstars to actually get to that back line to deal with Best Chuck. Gotta say though, Arakizora, I think, disrespecting the fact that no matter what stage in the game, a glaive and a brush is always going to be an issue. He kind of oversteps his mark there. No vision as well from Gangstars, meaning that was a very easy pickup for TSM. Again, if Arakizora gets repositioned, they don't even need to think about the Grumpjaw. They just go all in on Von C. Sorry, they go all in on Arakizora, and then Xenotech kind of just can't do anything, because this is the problem with Weapon Power Grumpjaw. He can't chase, can't teamfight very well again.
Oh man, speaking about chasing, they just jump on Arakizora. This is the problem you were talking about. He just goes down instantly. Von C is going to be able to pick up that kill. And that's going to be it. The Crystal Sentry is going to go down as well. Only one life remaining off that. And you said it, and then it happened, Scoundrel. They jump on Arakizora, and that was the end of him, and that was the end of the team fight from Gangstars.
That is the way you win a team fight against Gangstars, though. You take out Arakizora, you win the team fight. Because honestly, it's so easy to deal with the Grumpjaw, especially when you've got a Lyra on board. Any kind of slow, Grumpjaw cannot do anything. The only gap closing ability he has is his A. Other than that, he's got his ultimate, which is fairly low and short, sort of very short range. But realistically, he's only got his A. He hasn't got any movement speed bonus apart from boots. He hasn't got anything built into his kit that gives him mobility, when basic attacking or whatever. Just his A. So, you can kite him for days. As long as you deal with the Arakizora, who can kite very well with Sonic Zoom, you're absolutely laughing. And I think realistically, Arakizora should have hit his reflex block there. The major issue was that Arakizora's reflex block was late. So he got hit by From Hell's Heart, the stun landed, and that meant he was dead. Needs to not get hit by that, needs to use his reflex block more effectively next time.
Yeah, he just got insta-deleted, and, well, Attack of the Pack is going to get popped just to kind of dissuade TSM. They're not going to follow that up. Those tiny little wolves disappear into the abyss. That turret is going down very, very quickly. He gets destroyed. The Kraken just marching on through. Look at his HP bar as well, Scoundrel. Only half left. I mean, are they going to be able to get this turret? It just seems like Gangstars, they've got no real answer to this push here. Arakizora just can't get near any of TSM to do any damage whatsoever.
The problem is that Gangstars can't engage, because if they engage, that's the kind of team fight that TSM wants, because then Von C doesn't have to travel any distance, they can kite Xenotech very easily, and Iraqi Zoro is the one having to chase them down, of which they can turn it around immediately with an afterburn. So if Gangstars want to win, they have to let TSM engage onto them, and then somehow keep Grumpjaw in a position where he's actually dealing damage. The way it's working for TSM right now is that Gangstars can't engage because that's not the fight they want. So TSM are just happy to do whatever they want with the map, and if they can catch out Iraqi Zoro at a good opportunity, they will, and they'll win a team fight that way. You can notice the only way they've fought, the only way they've taken on Gangstars in the 3 versus 3 is when they've got a surefire attempt catch on Iraqi Zoro.
Well, speaking of a catch, will they find anything here? Flash X, you can see him. He wants to go for it. He's got the blood in his eyes. He goes straight onto Rekt. Attack of the Pack is going to get popped. They're all going to get slowed down. They are going to be able to escape, though. That Blighted Bulwark, look how much work it is doing, Scoundrel. This is ridiculous. Xenotech just did not stand a chance. Iraqi Zoro in the backline. The passage comes through. He ends up falling as well. And that will be it. I think Rekt is going to get chased down by the rest of the squad at TSM. And these guys are just looking on fire right now. Yeah,
I love the way they played that as well, Jaws.
Oh my goodness.
Flash X with the afterburn that got reflex blocked, immediately followed up by Best Chuck NA with the arcane passage straight onto the backline to deal with Iraqi Zoro. I think Xenotech kind of struggled in that fight. Again, couldn't do anything, was getting kited for days, couldn't even land his ultimate onto a target that he wanted. Didn't really have the impact I think he would have wanted in that fight. And again, this is the problem with Weapon Power Grumpjaw. Unless you have someone to help you reach your target, like an Arden, or someone that can keep your target still, you never actually get into a position where you can deal any damage. You kind of just sat there like, I've used my A, and now they're all running away from me, and I've got nothing to chase them with. And A is a really clunky ability as well. The animation time for the ability is so long. Which is why I think actually CP Grumpjaw is slightly better, because even if you, as long as you hit your A, you actually do damage. And you get one basic attack in with an aftershock, and it actually hurts. With the weapon power build, it's not so effective.
Oh man, the weapon power, we'll see if it affects this fight. Iraqi Zoro actually in the back line now. Will he be able to do anything? Obviously, Flash X did afterburn in there. They've got their sights set on him. Von C is trying to do something. Another afterburn stuns him up, but Von C actually falls this time. Passage comes through. Blighted Bulwark as well. He picks up 1 kill, and it's a 2-for-1 trade so far. And Best Chuck NA is looking ridiculous. Rekt is going to fall soon after as well. TSM, what is this team? They are absolutely handing it to Gangstars. I said this could be the 2 Titans clash, and it definitely is proving in TSM's favor.
Oh, Best Chuck NA just absolutely decimates Iraqi Zoro there. I mean, this guy, you talk about one of the best laners in North America. This guy is the best laner in North America. He is absolutely ridiculous. Time and time again, Best Chuck has proven that he is a dependable, solid teamfight player with, almost no weaknesses to his game. And again, this is one of his specialities, that lane Lyra just completely destroying Iraqi Zoro in that fight. And Xenotech again, you felt like he had little to no impact on this Grumpjaw. There were some fights where it looked like it made sense. There's some fights where he was getting the ultimate onto the Cruel. It felt like they actually had a decent way of approaching the team fights. But once it came down to it, once, Iraqi Zoro got caught out one too many times, the Grumpjaw was like a next to useless hero in this game.
Oh boy. I mean, I want to see more of Grumpjaw, that is for sure, because the hero is just so interesting. But yeah, maybe in kind of going into the wrong things. I mean, Lyra maybe considered a ban, but we'll have to wait and see if we do see more of him. And with that, that'll be it from us for the moment. We'll see you guys very soon. We're going to jump straight onto the Alice desk. AJ, take it away.
All right, well, Grumpjaw in his first streamed game of the 2017 spring season, not having the best performance. I have to admit, I found a place. They were going in, they were eating someone, and they were trying to leave, and they were being denied that opportunity because they hadn't paid their bill yet, right?
And gotta pay your bills.
And I mean, that's part of the problem that we had with that draft. I think both of us just kind of, all 3 of us really, probably all 5, we include the casters, agree that the draft just didn't make a whole lot of sense from the Gankstar side.
All right, well, let's see if their draft makes a little bit more sense this time round. It's game number 2. Team Solomid 1 game up in the series of the finals. They're going to be banning away that Ringo. Adagio's the answer from Gangstars. And TSM actually lock in Vox over Lyra.
Yeah, I like this first pick. A
awfully
lot of
similar.
times I wouldn't have said this necessarily as the first pick on A side, but with Ringo banned, that's one thing that Vox struggles with. And Adagio is another laner that can do pretty well against Vox, and we know that specifically Araki really likes that pick. So yeah, I think it's a good, strong first pick.
I just think it's kind of funny that this is identical to the first 3 selections made. First 4 selections identical now from game number 1, just with the team swapped. But Gangstars, they're going to make sure that Krull does not come through. Those crazy sword throws that Vonsi was able to hit early on in the game, not going to be coming through.
In the same rotation, they deny the weapon Lyra and the weapon Krull from both Tasty Bacon and I. TSM does have a chance to answer with a ban here, though.
See, I get disoriented when you start saying things like that.
So we got to figure out one really unconventional pick that Humanist loves, just so that Vonsi can play that too.
Ozo.
No,
be
don't
like,
play
"That's
Ozo
not
once. You don't do it, dude. We need to work on that off stream before you pick it again.
Team Solomid. Going to be banning away the Finn here. Gangstars.
I'd
does
love
get
to see
lock in
Von C
something.
play the CP Ringo, actually, as far as the ones that you guys talk about being off the wall.
Not going to be happening
You
in this
just-
game, though. Banned out.
Yeah, not this game, but as far as you
You
talking
just
about
want the CP Ringo to actually have a chance.
that. So to the draft here. I can't hear you, Bacon. Lance picked up for Gangstars. This is a go-to pick for them for sure.
Okay, hello.
Okay, this is the TSM have the burst comp that we saw before.
Yep.
Weapon Vox, the Koshka. They can highly mobile. That's what you want to pair with the Flicker here.
Yeah, I really like Flicker with a Koshka. That's what we saw when we had the Flicker come out yesterday. It was with the Koshka. They were able to just dominate the early game. Up against what could be the Lyra in the lane, I feel like maybe Gangstars kind of rethink this last pick, maybe take someone else up into the lane instead.
They can't exactly block the Yummy Catnip Frenzy if the Koshka's invisible.
I mean, you can, you just kind of have to get lucky.
Yeah. Well, it would be very lucky. That's pretty difficult to do.
Can't block it if you don't buy a reflex.
That's also true. That's my strategy
You
whenever I
can't
hop
miss
in
the
ranked.
block if you don't have a reflex.
Yeah.
Gangstars, we got a last pick potential here. All the bonus time available. They can really think about what they want to go for. Is Gwen a good option here? Skedaddle to get out of the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. The reveal on the buckshot to show everyone when they go into the Flicker ultimate.
I think the reveal from Gwen on the buckshot is actually super useful. I don't know if that's enough to...
But then, are we talking Captain, Lyra, Jungle Lance?
Yeah, why not?
And a CP Gwen coming in? Not as strong as she once was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not,
But you
it's
could
not
go
something
double
that you
weapon
couldn't
here.
do.
They've already shown they're willing to go double weapon.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you could theoretically also do the Captain Lyra with the Lance going a little bit of crystal damage.
I think
Because-
if he's building Crystal, it's more for his disable factor.
Exactly. Well, that's what I meant. Crystal path, not the crystal damage, because he doesn't get extra damage from the crystal, but he gets a lot
Their
of
own.
utility. Instead, they're going to hope to spot their opponents out by just dropping some mortars on their head.
Could work.
Good luck, have fun.
I feel like Baron is really going to struggle early.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not often we have a unanimous agreement on the desk here.
I'd love
but
to disagree with you guys. Baron, we've just seen it time and time again. Like, he needs early mid game to go his way. At least make it to the mid game without too much pressure. That's all Flicker does, is pressure you early game,
Yep.
among other things.
Yeah, and also I feel like, Baron, you need to hit a certain point in the game to be useful, and Koshka, Vox, Flicker, none of those things really allow for that, but neither do the defenses that the Baron has on his team. I don't think the Lance and Lyra are good enough to get him to that point.
The other concern is, we were just talking about, do you take the Gwen and go CP with it because you have the Lyra and the Lance? Very similar situation with the Baron. Like, you're going to want to go weapon Baron. Do you then take the Lance into the jungle and go the double weapon? I still feel like taking the Lance, building some crystal on him, and getting that extra utility could be useful.
Like Stormcrown Aftershock,
Yeah.
kind of like the cooldown build, something like that.
Something similar, yeah.
All right. By the way, update from the background, ladies and gentlemen. C9 did take game number 1 up against Rogue. We'll keep updating you as that match continues, and the VOD will be available early next week on YouTube and Twitch. we're nearly ready to head on to the Halcyon Fold. I want some final predictions, potentially final predictions.
I predict Gankstars will lose this game.
I predict Humanist will be correct.
So you're not predicting TSM will win, though. Does that mean that Gangstars will end up losing because they threw or something? Is that
No,
is that,
I think they end up
TSM
losing.
not going that
prediction.
deep?
I think Gankstars end up losing because they didn't draft very intelligently on the second game or the first game.
Well, let's find out if it pans out that way as we head on to the Halcyon Fold. This could be our last matchup of Week 1 of Day 2 of North America. Let's hand it on over to Jaws and Excoundrel.
Oh boy, we're back. TSM and Gankstars. My goodness. TSM looks super strong in that first game. Can Gankstars pull it back? We'll have to wait and see. Game number 2. My name is George, joined by the wonderful Excoundrel. And we are in already onto the fold.
Well, I mean, Gangstars do have Wrecked on his Lyra. This is something that is unanimously thought of as a bad, hero to give away to a guy that is so gifted with it. But, like I said, there's a super aggressive draft, you have to say, coming out from TSM. And it's the one way that you shut down a Baron is by putting loads of pressure onto him early. And A, Akoshka can do that, and B, a Flicker can do that. And it looks like Flicker is already in position to start making stuff happen. But Gangstars seem to realize this and are kind of on board.
Oh, they are on board, but Rex is going really low. He gets under his own
Vonsi!
turret, but Vonsi, oh my goodness, almost went down. Vonsi, you're gonna have to be a little bit more careful next time. That was so close, and Gangstars, you weren't wrong. They were so prepared for that dive.
I think they're kind of being aware. I think TSM have definitely telegraphed kind of what they're expecting to do to this Baron with the Koshka and the Flicker. So Gangstars, I think, are going to be in a position to try and do that. Rex is very low. Flash X already coming in here.
They're going on him yet again. Yeah, he has got the healing, and Arakizoro was in a fairly aggressive position, so TSM, they're going to have to back off, but putting the pressure down early is exactly what they did.
Yeah, but you've got to do that against the Baron. That's kind of what is expected when you're going up against the Baron. Pressure him early so he can't farm to the late game. It's the one way that you deal with him, and Koshka is an excellent hero to do that, as is Flicker. But Flicker, realistically, his role is to be aggressive in the early game, to get these lane ganks off, to be an absolute nuisance. And you combine that with Vonsi, you've got a lot of burst damage coming through as well. Definitely, there's going to be Arakizoro on the ropes for the majority of this early game.
Oof. Xenotech tried to get a Githian wall on the invisible Flash X, but Flash X was nowhere nearby. So
well, yeah, it's the best way to approach it. I mean, other than having
true.
a scout trap there.
Best Chakane gets jumped on, Impale does land. However, Flash X is going to be there for safety as well. And yeah, I can imagine they're just going to itemize heavily towards just making sure they know where Vonsi is, they know where Flash X is, so they can just keep Arakizoro safe.
And speaking of itemization, it's going to be a contraption at some point here for... actually, Arakizoro has to be careful.
Oh, he does have to be very careful. Does jump jet away. However, Flash X still on the pursuit. Wrecked, going fairly low. Flash X taking a tower hit. Turret hit even. Yeah, did it again. Strike 2. TSM going very aggressive, but yet again, just the ability to just get out of sticky situations is kind of like respectful.
Oh, cheeky Vonsi. 2 levels up now onto Xenotech. And Xenotech on this Lance jungle is just not having a nice time versus this aggressive play coming out from Vonsi. Really, really aggressive. But you need to be aggressive. We talked about it. This composition is designed to be aggressive. And you can see the flare guns come out from Wrecked right now. He knows exactly where he's going, even potentially before his fountain, going straight for the contraption, knowing that the fountain actually isn't as necessary because they don't want to fight. So if they can avoid the fights as best as possible and wait until fountain comes out as second item, it's kind of playing to their game plan anyway. But the contraption, that is exactly what you need against this Flicker.
Oh man, like the itemization part is just so... Well, you could say it's just really good here from Wrecked. I mean, as soon as you get that vision down, you can see him popping a flare every few seconds. And there you go. He's up there.
Contraption's already done. Here comes the endless scout traps across the entirety of the map. Flicker's worst nightmare.
That's
literally
so
scout
annoying.
traps for days.
Scout traps for days. My God. It's going to be just entirely filled with red little dots, isn't it? That's what the map's going to become.
Very much so, but the one problem you will have for Gangstars right now is without a fountain, you are susceptible to engages. coming out from TSM. So you have to be making sure that if you're using that contraption to its full capability, you're keeping tabs on where Flash X is at all times to make sure you aren't getting engaged on. Because without Fountain, you are very, very weak in a teamfight situation.
Woof. Wow, Githian Wall straight onto Von C there. And yet again, the Blighted Bulwark doing a lot of work yet again in this game. And as you said, they want to get on top of Rakizoro or Wrecked, but it's going to be so tough for that to actually happen. And kind of a, not like a stark contrast to last game, but it's a very much more even early game for both of these teams already.
Unitech's gone Storm Guard Banner on Lance Jungle.
Oh. That's odd.
Are they playing basically almost double captain, protect the Baron?
I guess. Yeah, no damage for you, just pure protect the Baron. I mean, if he goes full damage as well, without hardly any defensive items, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but putting all your eggs in Arakizoro's basket, I mean, I definitely would, that is for sure. The guy is an absolute monster in lane.
Yeah, on a Baron as well. Look at this, Flash X having
Flash
no
X.
joy running around the map, trying to be as...
Oh, wow. Fonzie going in there, Arakizoro going really no. Nice double impale coming through for Xenotech. Fonzie's going to have to be careful. In fact, he just goes down, but Beshchakane dives straight under the turret, picks up Arakizoro. Didn't manage to pick up Wrecked, however, on an inch of HP, but really nice replay there coming through from Beshchakane. Knew where the threats were, jumped straight under the turret, got the kill.
Yeah, that's actually not bad at all for Gangstars, though. 1 for 1 at this point in the game. They'll take that every day of the week. Unitech now, oh wow, okay, this is going to be TSM Flash X being super aggressive, trying to clear out as many scout traps as possible. But as long as Rekt keeps placing them, as long as Rekt keeps vision up across the map, you've got to keep tabs on Flicker, and if you can keep tabs on a Flicker, that's where Flicker starts to sort of wane in terms of its usefulness. We'll walk straight over Rekt again. These scout traps are going to spot out Flash X once more.
Oh,
and
man.
Rekt doing exactly what you do with a contraption, which is just literally spam scout traps all over the map, 24/7.
The map will have chickenpox by the end of it. You thought it might be eradicated, but nope. It's back. Oh dear. Flash it. Every time he goes into a bush.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously there was a cooldown for contraptions, so
very true.
If you can clear scout traps quicker than Rex can lay them, then you'll manage to keep on top of your sort of strengths as being a flicker. And actually, you're actually forcing Rex back here, which is allowing them to take this first structure of the game.
Oh my
TSM
goodness.
already off to a blind to start.
Wow. TSM, yeah, really coming into their element here.
Oh, and Zoro ion cannoned himself.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Wow. 8-second cooldown, not something you want to blow. And they are just going to make sure TSM are kept at bay. However, Von C says not today. It goes in with the Captain Frenzy. It doesn't land, though. Does get blocked, but Best Chuck and Ace in the back line. Xenotech's taking a lot of damage. Flash is now in a 1v3 situation. One more auto will do it. Xenotech does steal it away from Arakizoro's rocket, but that does mean they trade 1 for 0 here with Flash X being down. They really could just push on this turret.
Hey, they won that without a fountain as well. The double Dragon Heart coming out from Rekt means they actually have a really decent level of healing coming out from the Lyra already. Maybe not even needing the fountain for that fight because all the healing came from the Imperial Sigil. And they somehow come out on top. Brilliant reflex block by Arakizoro to stop Von C's engage potential there. And Gangstar is looking pretty solid in this game.
They are indeed. I really want to see Arakizoro actually get to the kind of late game because it's going to be the point in where
they're funneling all the farm on him.
Jump in. Yeah, well, exactly.
They're giving him all the farm because Xenotech is basically playing second captain.
They're literally, yeah, they just clumped all the jungle creeps up and then let him just AoE them down. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? Look at that. Just the differential in the CS between these between everybody is absolutely insane as well.
Well, actually, TSM are on the upper hand of it, right? Because they've got a CS difference with Von C, and actually Best Chuck and A is ahead of Arakizoro. So realistically, they're trying to keep Arakizoro on level pegging with Best Chuck and A. But this is kind of a very Druid-esque gameplay style. You know, Phoenix Armada did this for Worlds, basically gave all of the farm to Druid. Druid hit item spikes way quicker than everybody else and just carried very quickly. Flash X again, foiled by a scout trap. Rekt just spamming them all over the map.
Oh man, it's going to look like chickenpox in a minute, I'm going to tell you that. But Flash X is going to have to get the jump, I think, on Arakizoro. Same with Von C. I mean, if he lands a full yummy catnip frenzy onto Iraqi Zoro, I can imagine that he's just going to get insta-deleted across the map, off the map, and maybe that's going to be something they're going to have to do. But are they going to pick up, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe a double Crucible here on the side of Gangstars, just to make sure that doesn't happen?
Maybe. I mean, I definitely think someone needs a fountain. Like, Rex has still not picked up a fountain. He's gone for Crucible's second item. I definitely would like to see somebody get a fountain. You know, you can't overstate how useful that item is in almost every situation. But for the most part, they are just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to get to that late game for the Baron, and that's completely fine. That's the way you want to play this. And if not having a fountain means you're just basically laying scout traps and not fighting, I think Gangstars are going to be very happy with that.
Yeah, most definitely. And we actually seen how Gangstars can play the map as well, so it definitely could work to their advantage. Their control over the waves, the minion waves, is very, very good, but does look like they actually want a bit of this one. Githian wall 2 people. Von C's gonna have to back off here. Flash X in a lot of trouble. Ion Cannon comes down. It does end up missing, unfortunately, but Best Chuck NA is going to be able to escape as well. Ultimate pop from the flicker, everybody turns invisible, and they all run away. But really fantastic re-engage there from Gangstars, and this is exactly what they seem to need to do.
Well, actually, Rekt is just basically stopping anything that TSM want to do right in their tracks. TSM, with the Koshka, can't get past that Bright Bulwark. Once the engage gets foiled, as long as Iraqi Zoro is hitting his reflex block, TSM are basically, they're sat there doing nothing. They get a turret for their toils.
They do get a ton of yummy Candy Frenzy, just foiled once again. Best Chuck and Ace following up with the damage. He ends up picking up 1 kill, and that's the main damage dealer. Remember, it's pretty much 2 supports on the side of Gangstars. Rekt is going to go down as well after they just turret dive him. Xenotech, last member alive. Will he be able to survive? TSM are just diving between 2 turrets at this point. They need the kill. They want it so badly. They get the ace, though, and this is exactly what they needed. Best Chuck NA, he's got 3-0 right now, and they have this wave as well. They're going to be able to take this turret, Scoundrel. What can they do after this?
Well, maybe not too much, because Iraqi Zoro is back up, but they'll be happy with just the turret on the board. I think Gangstar's got a little bit greedy for their first turret of the game. They allowed Von C to get way too much damage down onto Iraqi Zoro for free. You know, he didn't even need to worry about the Yummy Catnip Frenzy, because he'd already landed with the Twirly Death empowered basic attacks. So, I mean, he was perfectly happy in that situation. And again, then they chased them down. Fountain would have been so useful there, potentially. Could have even won them the fight, but they didn't have it. And this is where you're starting to question when, as if anyone is going to pick it up, because it looks like Xenotech's just gone Full Metal Jacket, as far as I'm aware. And War Treads has actually been prioritized by Rekt over the Fountain. Yeah, I definitely... I'm just going to say it now, would love to see a fountain on them at some point.
I think it's the 3rd time you've heard say it.
Yeah.
They are going to jump in yet again. Von C is jumping in right in the back line yet again. The only Captain Frenzy is going to be blocked. Ion Cannon comes down, doesn't do enough. Will mean Best Chuck NA has just got free reign in this fight. Iraqi Zoro just disappears off the map, and Xenotech is left alone once again. Von C is going to be able to clean this fight up. They take the Crystal Sentry as well. TSM, they are coming through in this best of 3 so strong. A pure titan on the NA scene right now, showing and proving they are the best team, or one of the best teams here.
No, I mean, they if they win this series, they keep that solid mantle as the best team in North America. They've had that mantle for quite a number of months right now, and they're certainly proving it once again. Still no priority for a Fountain here, and you can't help but Fountain probably would have been useful in that fight, Jaws. Hey,
hey.
I'm going to keep saying it because I can't get over the fact. Anyway, what's happening here is, you know, basically Flash X, Von C, everybody is sort of barreling in with those War Treads, getting Von C to the back line, getting him on top of Iraqi Zoro. Even if the Yummy Catnip Frenzy gets crucibled or reflex blocked, the pure damage output from Von C right now is too much for Iraqi Zoro to go for, or to deal with rather, because, you know, he hasn't got any shielding. He hasn't built, he has actually, he's now got a little bit of shielding, but he hasn't really got any substantial shielding there. And with Von C having the Broken Myth, he's already got those piercing stacks stacking up, so that shielding, the way it is right now, really doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, we are at 3 items for Iraqi Zoro. He has now picked up his Tyrant's Monocle. We'll have to see how much of a difference that makes.
Oh man, this is the kind of breaking point, as you'd say, in his build. But thing is, 2 monocles on the side of Best Chuck NA, and he's doing a lot of damage, and he's cleaning up the fights along with Von C as well. It's just been an absolute showing from TSM, and I really want to see them if they can pull it off again, because Iraqi Zoro is just nowhere to be found in these fights.
I gotta say, when you put all of your eggs in one damage dealer's basket, especially against something like a Koshka who is so good at just blowing that singular target up, if they take out Iraqi Zoro, there isn't actually anything left for Gangstars to fight with, which means it's why it just surprises me that you haven't put all of your defensive itemization in, especially even Xenotech having picked up some more defensive itemization, like even like an Atlas Pauldrons, for instance. I don't know, why. Maybe if Best Chakane chooses to ignore them.
Scoundrel, they're coming through in stealth. Rector's gonna have to be careful. Yummy Cat Frenzy gets blocked in again, but I'm not sure it's gonna matter. They're jumping straight onto Iraqi Zoro. He goes down once more. Xenotech's gonna get rooted up as well. He's gonna fall. Double kill comes through for Von C, and Lyra is nowhere to be found in the base. Just had to get back. Blinking health bars on the side of TSM as they tank up a couple of turret hits, but yet again, they come through and they just insta-gib Iraqi Zoro, and that is the end of the fight.
Do you know why that is? It's because they don't give a flying poo about the rest of the team. They're not doing any damage. Why would you care about a Lyra and a Lance with a Storm Crown? They're not going to do any damage to you. What's the point of even trying to kill them? You just run past them. And it's up to Xenotech and Rec to peel for Iraqi Zoro. But if they can't manage that, if they can't peel through the War Treads engage that Flasex is pulling out every single time, Iraqi Zoro just dies. And TSM are like, they're doing exactly the right thing. They're saying, do you know what? Why would we even bother respecting the Lance or the Lyra when they're not actually doing any damage and they're not actually threatening us in any way, shape, or form? We're just going to run straight past them and kill Iraqi Zoro, because if we kill Iraqi Zoro, we win the game. Every time. Which is why it's just so funny to me that we haven't seen anything like a Fountain, which could, I know it might not, but it could potentially keep your Baron alive. Given that Baron is the only target that matters.
Please, someone buy a Fountain really quickly, because I'm kind of scared.
I'm probably going to have an
your
aneurysm.
Health. Yeah, that's my issue. I mean, this is not looking good for Gangstars. That's the thing, and it's not looking good for you either. Big Scoundrel has an aneurysm because Rector Xenotech does not have a Fountain by the end of this game. I'm gonna have to find a new caster, unfortunately, because he might die.
So I guess one of the redeeming factors for Gangstars is if they get to a 4-item, which they might not do.
Well, they might not do, because this could be the end of the fight. Vonnik's going to jump in there. Xenotech's getting destroyed, but finally Iraqi Zero's in this backwards position.
Look at the damage!
However, the Ion Cannon comes through. Best Chakane's going really low, but Koshka, she doesn't really care. She jumps around the back line. Iraqi Zoro versus 3. He's normally the first one to die. Now he's the last. Von C comes up big on the Koshka. Comes up big for TSM. TSM are going to take this best of 3 2-0. They don't need a game 3, Scoundrel. They're just going to take the crystal and walk home with it.
We might have had shake-ups with Europe's rosters. We might have had shake-ups in the top dogs in that scene. But I tell you what, TSM stand tall in North America. They are still on top in the North American VG8. They are still the team that is dominant. Who can stop this iteration of TSM? They feel like it's the new Team Secret, but the North American version, because they are on track to win absolutely everything. And if they continue this, there's absolutely no one that can stop them. TSM looking fantastic, Jaws.
They look absolutely incredible. And obviously the analyst mentioned as well about the team houses, where Gangstars obviously have a team house, so do TSM. And I think maybe that's kind of the... Gangstars, they didn't look so hot in this best of 3, but they have looked so good in this tournament so far. Maybe this is the kind of upper echelon of what you need to kind of do to make sure your team is in top performance to play at these tournaments.
Absolutely. I mean, TSM have had a house for quite a while now, I believe. I think it happened sometime last year. And, I see the guys on Twitter, they all look like they get on incredibly well. It looks like it's a really healthy team environment as well. I honestly, it's all ups for TSM right now, and they definitely look like the team that's going to be flying the North American flag come the Unified Live Championships.
Oh man, those live championships are going to be so hype, and I'm definitely ready for them, but we do need to break that down a little bit more. We're going to jump over to AJ over on the desk. That is it from me and Scoundrel for this little while. We'll see you guys very soon.
Thank you very much, guys. All right, Team Solomid taking the finals in 2-0 fashion. That being